Some were tortured and then thrown into the sea. Many followed their patriarch into exile to escape from the hands of their persecutors, while a large number disguised their real opinions under a pretended acceptance of the Council of Chalcedon. The Muslims were greeted as liberators when they arrived in Egypt, led by Amr al-As, a contemporary and close companion of Prophet Muhammad. Even the Egyptian Coptic Christians supported their intervention. John of Nikiu, 690 CE, a Coptic bishop in Nikiu, Egypt, asserted that one of the reasons for the Muslim success in Egypt was the hatred of the masses by the Byzantines, and that the Egyptians not only refused to fight the Muslims, they actually supported the conquest. When Muslims saw the weakness of the Romans and the hostility of the people to the emperor Heraclius, they became bolder and stronger in the war, and people began to help the Muslims. It should be noted that these are contemporary Christian sources testify that the Muslims were actually supported by the Egyptian Coptic Christians against the Byzantine Christians. If the Byzantines had treated the masses justly, then wouldn't the Coptic population of Egypt have fought alongside the Byzantines against the Muslims? It was the tolerant attitude of the Muslims and the barbarity of the Byzantines which facilitated the rapid downfall of the Byzantines in the land of the Pharaohs. If the oppression and injustice exhibited by the Byzantines was the norm for ruling powers, then why didn't the Muslims act in the same way? As with all matters in life, Muslims are bound to act according to the code of conduct laid out in the Quran, and war is no exception. If Muslims happen to be at war, then even when they might be facing severe opposition, they must be righteous. They are prohibited from extreme action. Fight in God's cause against those who fight you, but do not overstep the limits. God does not love those who overstep the limits. For example, Muslims are not allowed to harm innocent men, women and children. This can be seen in the instructions given to the Muslim army by their leader Abu Bakr, the first successor of Prophet Muhammad. I advise you 10 things. Do not kill women or children or an aged, infirm person. Do not cut down fruit-bearing trees. Do not destroy an inhabited place. Do not slaughter sheep or camels except for food. Do not burn bees, and do not scatter them. Do not steal from the booty, and do not be cowardly. The Quran also instructs Muslims with regard to those non-Muslims who do not fight them. God does not forbid you to deal kindly and justly with anyone who has not fought you for your faith or driven you out of your homes. God loves the just. Muslims are not supposed to fight anyone who desires peace and coexistence. Alfred J. Butler, whose work on the Arab conquest of Egypt is to this day an authoritative reference point, studied the relevant chronicles and made many profound statements pertaining to the Islamic leadership's tolerance and protection of the Christian population in Egypt. After all that the Copts had suffered at the hands of the Romans and the patriarch Cyrus, it would not have been unnatural if they had designed to retaliate upon the Melkites, the Romans, but any such design, if they cherished it, was sternly discountenanced by Amr, the Muslim conqueror of Egypt, whose government was wisely tolerant but perfectly impartial between the two forms of religion. Many facts might be cited in proof of this contention. Two forms of Christianity must be imagined as subsisting side by side under the equal protection of the conquerors. This is exactly what had occurred in Syria, as we saw in the previous section. The Syrians preferred the rule of the Muslims, just as the Egyptians did. It was the justice of Islam that appealed to both populations. Moreover, the Coptics not only welcomed the Muslims, they facilitated the conquest by joining the ranks of the conquerors. Spain liberated from tyranny. Muslims landed in Spain in 711 CE. Many sources testify that they were welcomed by the population, as their reputation preceded them. This was again due to the severe persecution certain communities